possible. Hi, I'm Petey the Pistol. Say, do you ever get lonely?
Yes?
Me too. Hold me. If you squeeze me, I make bad people go away.
This video was made possible by my patrons, Joshua Bartlett and James Schubach. Thank you so much to both of you. Hello everyone, this is My Two Cents. By now, I'm sure everyone is aware of the tragic mass shooting that occurred in Sutherland Springs, Texas this past weekend. As per the usual, the left wasted no time politicizing the event, calling for more gun control, all the while ignoring the fact that the shooter was already legally barred from owning a firearm. The fact that he was only able to purchase his firearm legally because the U.S. Air Force Office of Special Investigations failed to do its job properly by entering his data into the federal database, and for the most part ignoring the fact that he was stopped by a brave individual who confronted him with a gun. Now, there have already been some great video responses to this event, particularly Ben Shapiro's response, which I will link in the description. And I certainly could make another video about the fact that guns save lives, that gun control is victim disarmament, but I decided to take this opportunity to talk to something else about related to mass shootings that the mainstream media is ignoring. Now, throughout this video, I will not be naming the shooter or showing any pictures of him, and there is a reason for that. Now, while everyone is so busy arguing about regulations on gun ownership, very few stop to ask the question, why did the shooter do what he did? Now, some may say that's irrelevant. What's important is he killed 26 people, wounded 20 others, and he did so with a gun. I'm not saying that's not important, but stop and think about something else. Everything anyone does on a day-to-day basis, they do because they have motives, and once the motive is gone, they don't do that thing anymore. You go to a restaurant because you're hungry, but once you're full, you no longer have a motive to stay at the restaurant. You watch a TV show because you want entertainment, but if you get bored with the show, you won't keep watching it. So in the case of crime and criminals, what motivates criminals to commit crimes? This is in fact an important aspect that the police consider when investigating crimes, or in court, prosecuting attorneys focus on establishing motive to help demonstrate that the defendant is guilty. Former Detective J. Warner Wallace has stated that in his experience investigating homicides and all other forms of crime, what he's found is that all crimes, save those committed by the mentally ill, are committed for one of three reasons: money, sex, and power. Burglars rob houses because they want money or other things of value. Rapists rape because they want sex. Gang members kill other gang members because they want to exert power over them. And now power, that last one in particular, can manifest itself in many different ways. In particular, people seek fame and status because it gives them power over others. So if money, sex, and power are the three things that motivate crime, what specifically motivates mass shootings?
Why did you come here?
They'll be talking about this war for 1,000 years.
In 1,000 years, the dust from our bones will be gone.
Yes, Prince. But our names will remain.
For those of you who have seen the movie Troy, you'll know that Brad Pitt makes all kinds of statements like this one in the last clip throughout the movie. His character, Achilles, has become considered the greatest warrior who ever lived. Yet, he makes it clear that he fights for only one reason. He wants to be remembered. Even if he goes to his death in battle, he's willing to do this because he wants immortality in the sense that even once he's no longer living, people will never stop talking about him for ages to come, as he says he wants his name to be remembered. In his paper, Shooting for Fame, author Michael Serrazio states, in reference to people who commit mass shootings, indeed, there exists a distinctly existential logic underpinning their savage gambits. It is the idea that in late modern society, the supposedly rootless, alienated individual can, through visual media broadcasts, rise above his or her station in life, his or her seat in the audience. That fame can grant eternal life, and one's own image proliferation can somehow transcend mortality. Before television, this was the vague, distant seduction of film fame. After television, it suddenly appeared open to more viewers. With the dawn of the internet era, those studio walls have been further knocked down, commencing a hypermobility of images sliding past what had been the gatekeepers of yesteryear. To be known is to repair the plight and plague of late modernity. One might break down celebrity desires into a typology of 3 categories. It provides one with the experience of individuality, it offers transcendence above powerless anonymity, and it entices with the potential for immortality. These will help illuminate the logic behind the premeditated productivity of the youth shooters. These are the worth ratio values cultivated by decades of mass media ritual. Many people say that the 1999 shooting at Columbine High School in Colorado was the first shooting of this kind. The 2 young men who committed that horrendous crime had their names and pictures plastered across every TV in America. Despite the fact that they don't deserve any praise for their evil act, they were immortalized in that no one will ever forget them now or what they did. So tell me, how many of you watching this know the name of the shooter in Sutherland Springs? What about his bio? All these things have been thoroughly reported. And let me suggest that as unfortunate as it is, there are some sick-minded people in America and across the world right now thinking to themselves, if I committed a mass shooting and killed a ton of people, my name and picture would be on every TV in America and no one will ever forget me. It's truly sad because the leftist media wants to report on these types of events. In fact, I suspect that members of CNN and their ilk likely know that this type of reporting encourages more mass shootings, and so they cover it as much as possible because they know that more mass shootings means more of them getting to push their gun control agenda. It makes me sick to think about, but it's a possibility. What's also sad is that if this shooter had been stopped by an armed member of the church's congregation before he'd managed to kill more than, say, 2 people, I guarantee that the event would have received no media attention whatsoever. According to the Journal of Criminal Law and Criminology, guns are used 2.5 million times a year in self-defense. Law-abiding citizens use guns to defend themselves against criminals as many as 2.5 million times every year, or about 6,850 times a day. This means that each year, firearms are used more than 80 times more often to protect the lives of honest citizens than to take lives. And of the 2.5 million times citizens use their guns to defend themselves every year, the overwhelming majority merely brandish their gun or fire a warning shot to scare off their attackers. Less than 8% of the time, a citizen will kill or wound his or her attacker. And yet, despite the breadth of these type of events receive no media attention at all. Before I end, there's one more point I'd like to make about deterring crime. In their paper about criminal motivations, Huizinga, Krieger, and Matsueda state, even if a person has determined that the rewards to crime outweigh the costs, that person cannot commit a crime until an objective opportunity is not only present, but also perceived. In the case of mass shootings, an objective opportunity would be a large group of people unable to defend themselves. Even if mass shooters are motivated for a desire for fame, or infamy, whatever you want to call it, they have to believe that they have a reasonable chance at success. So, to all would-be mass shooters out there, don't bother coming to my church on Sunday. As I sit there in the pews, I'm packing heat, as are 12 other members of my congregation. In fact, we deliberately position ourselves throughout the sanctuary to provide for optimal coverage in the event of an actual threat. In addition, a local sheriff's deputy who attends my church parks his patrol vehicle out front every Sunday, just to let any would-be criminals know he's there. I've actually spoken to our pastor, who mentioned to me that there was a time when a woman came to him and told her that it made her feel uncomfortable how many people in our church carry guns. He told her that he'd rather that than having no one be armed in the event that a bad guy ever came into the church with a gun. Incidents like Sutherland Springs only prove he's right. So, for that reason, I suggest that your church, or if you're not religious, whatever social gatherings it is you attend, think about having your members carry guns. That's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Thanks everyone for watching. If you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe. You can also hit the bell to ensure you're notified every time I upload a new video. This video was made possible by my patrons Joshua Bartlett and James Schubach. Thank you so much to both of them. If anyone else would like to donate and help ensure that I have the time and resources to keep putting out content, for just $1 a month you'll receive a shout out at the end of every video and the link to one of your social media platforms in the description. You can also follow me on Twitter, minds.com, VidMe, WordPress, and iTunes. Uploads are every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so stay tuned for more videos.
In fact, did you know that Jesus and Moses used guns to conquer the Romans?